Refer to section 14 of the construction guide. Also refer to the cutting guide for all dimensions. In this video, we are going to build the cabinet top component. The cabinet top is made up of the cabinet top bottom, part G, the cabinet top rear, part GD, and the two cabinet top sides, parts GE. The cabinet top stopper is made up of the cabinet top front, part GA, the cabinet top stopper, part GB, and the cabinet top stopper rail, part GC. The cabinet top unit fits at the top, between the two cabinet sides of the Murphy bed. The cabinet top stopper is attached to the cabinet top after the assembly of the bed. Start by placing part G on your working surface. Also grab part GD, and the two sides parts GE. Run a bead of wood glue along the narrow side of part GE. Place part GE on the cabinet top bottom, and use a wood clamp to clamp both together. We are going to use 2-inch long wood screws to attach parts GE to the cabinet top bottom board. Drive 4 screws through part GE into the cabinet top bottom. Drive all 4 screws flush. You may remove the wood clamp after driving 2 screws. Wipe off any excess glue with a damp cloth. Now repeat the same steps to attach the other part GE to the other end of part G. It is a good idea to use a stand made from the scrap plywood to hold up part G for the next step. Run a bead of wood glue along the edge of the cabinet top as shown here. Now place part GD on the rear of the cabinet top bottom, making sure the finished edge is facing away from the cabinet top board. Make sure the top and the sides of part GD are flush with parts GE as shown here. Use 2-inch long wood screws to secure part GD to the rear of the cabinet top. Drive 1 screw at each end to hold part GD in place. It is a good idea that you measure and mark a pencil line at 1 5/8 from the top of part GD as a reference line for driving the rest of the screws. Place a scrap piece of 1x2 to make sure the cabinet top bottom is straight while driving the screws. Some plywood may have a slight bend. Flush both pieces as shown here and use a clamp to hold the scrap piece in place. Continue to drive more 2-inch long wood screws every 8 to 10 inches. Part GD must be properly secured to part G, since this is where the Murphy bed will anchor to the wall. Part GD is now secured to the cabinet top. The finished edge should face down. Remove the clamp in the scrap 1x2. The cabinet top is now complete. Now it's time to build the cabinet top stopper which goes with the cabinet top. The 3/4 inch lip along the bottom of the cabinet top stopper is used to stop the bed when the Murphy bed is closed. The 3/4 inch overhang on the face panels will rest on the 3/4 inch lip along GB. Place parts GA, GB, and GC on your working surface. Place GA on GB making sure both finished edges are on the same side as shown here. Make sure both ends and the unfinished edges of part GA and GB are flush. Clamp both parts together at both ends. Now drive a 1 1/4 inch long wood screw into the rear of part GB to secure it to part GA. Drive 5 to 6 wood screws flush. Make sure these edges are flush. can use a scrap piece of 1x2 to double check the 3/4 inch lip on part GB. Measure and mark a 1/5 inch line on the back of part GB. Measure from the finished edge as shown here. Double check your measurements. Run a bead of wood glue on one side of the solid wood part GC. Place part GC on the back of part GB, making sure the bottom side of GC is on the pencil line as shown here. Part GC should also recess 3/4 inch from both ends of part GB as shown here. Double check to make sure the line is at 1/5 inch. Use 2-inch long wood screws to secure part GC to part GB. Drive 5 to 6 screws, equally spaced along GC. The cabinet top stopper is now finished. It is important to note that the cabinet top stopper should not be attached to the cabinet top bottom until after the pistons have been installed, and the bed has been anchored to the wall during the assembly stage.